following episode is rated D for dumb.
So much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello, everybody. It is April 25. It is 9:09 in the morning. I'm headed home from Walmart in Rensselaer, New York. Are you ready to dumb it down? Okay, that's good enough for me. I am headed home. It's only really day one of my work week. I took a couple of days of bereavement leave, and I had my regular day off, so normally this would be day 5 or day 4, and I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm headed home, but not today. Today's only my one day back. I didn't tie my bereavement right. My mom didn't die at a convenient time. If she had died maybe on a Monday, I would have worked, Monday, came home Tuesday, whatever. But hey, these things, you have to go with the flow, and the flow stopped last Saturday morning. A week ago today was my mom's 1 week anniversary of no longer being alive. A little callous, you think? A little cold? Let me explain to you a couple of things here. So, episode 218 was the first episode of So My Mom Died, episode 218, and that was really based in pragmatism. I wanted to talk to you about the things that, I didn't even mention everything, but basically it took me a half hour to do a podcast to let you know that you should be calling your funeral home, your whatever one you choose, for yourself, for your parents. It all depends on your age. For somebody, whatever loved one that you're taking care of, or not even a loved one. In my case, not a loved one, but I'm getting to it. But it's called pre-need, PRE-need, pre-need. And you call these nursing homes, these funeral homes. What did I say before? You call these funeral homes, and you tell them, I want to arrange a pre-need. And what's the beauty of that, folks? I know some of you have a tough time with mortality. I don't know which one you are, but if you do, I get it. You want to wait till the last minute? Go ahead. My sister said to me many years ago, many years ago, she said to me, we will cross that bridge when we get to it. We will cross the bridge of making funeral arrangements while everybody is older, mourning, tired, at work, otherwise predisposed. It's the dumbest thing that you could say. And that was part of the pragmatism episode. And it took me a half hour to get to it, but I just want to reiterate to episode 218. Do not wait until you cross that bridge to get to it. By the way, when I heard that, I knew that was another way of saying, Dave, you will cross that bridge when you get to it. I will have nothing to do with it. So, I didn't feel empowered by that. Oh, you're letting me call the funeral homes? Oh, you're letting me shop around? Oh, you're empowering me? Because now she has power of attorney. This is something that was new to me. I had power of attorney, the whole time that my mom was in the nursing home. But all of a sudden, now it's shifted to her. That's fine. I really don't care. I just would have liked to have been told, hey, by the way, just want to let you know, things have changed a little bit. Okay, whatever. Oh, by the way, I'm talking to a lawyer about mom and dad's will. Oh, really? Because when I mentioned all these things years ago, I was all poo-pooed on. It was like, no, we'll cross that bridge. You'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I got to tell you something, folks. Again, I'm not going to spend a whole half hour on this, but if there's somebody in your life that you're responsible for, and you think they're, it doesn't matter. Well, they're only 60. Yeah, I remember when my parents were 60. But you know how much money you're going to save? And not only that, I mean, really, don't do it for the money saving. But I know for a lot of you, that is an incentive. Do it because it's easier now. There's no better time than now. You put your deposit down. You find one of those reputable firms that have been around for, 500 years, whatever. The place I went to supposedly was the first one ever in Brooklyn. They've been around since like 1898, whatever. Whatever the deal is. I don't know what the guarantees are, like how long they're going to stay in business, or I don't know the survival rate of a funeral home. I don't know about any of that. So I can't tell you what the guarantees are. All I know is that it's worth making a phone call, going to one of these places and sitting down, and don't get sold on a $20,000 coffin and payment plans and all that stuff. I mean, listen, I'm not telling you how to bury somebody as far as that goes. In the Jewish religion, I don't even know how custom it is, how customary and how traditional it is, but we just go for the basic box. $925 for the basic box. And we waited too long. Of course, the COVID exacerbated everything. So we had to pay $1,095. We were upsold $175. And I truly have no idea. I have no way of knowing what it looks like. What does the $900 box look like, or the $1,000 box looks like? All I know is I would have appreciated not having to make all those phone calls. I cannot tell you, I can't express to you enough. If you haven't done it already, you should do it. You should embrace the mortality. It's not as creepy as you think. Just don't get upsold. Just go in there knowing what you want. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Send me a text or whatever, and I'll try to help you out. I know a little bit now. And is the Jewish religion different from the other one? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know what it's like if you're Italian, or if you're non-Jew. I don't know. I don't know what that's like. All I'm telling you is I would have liked to have taken care of this 10, 15, 20 years ago. We would have saved money, and after my mother died, it would have been one phone call does it all. That means that I could have rested on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. I could have taken the time to mourn if I wanted to. I didn't want to, but if I wanted to, I could have mourned. I could have maybe went to work because I wouldn't have been so exhausted. Because the phone call, by the way, there was also a transfer of ownership, like I expressed in episode 218. Because my father and my mother didn't own that plot. And neither did my aunt, my father's sister, and her husband, my uncle. We hadn't transferred over the deed yet. My grandmother bought this for them years ago. She bought property. So if somebody gifted to you a grave, well, you better make sure you own it. Because if you don't own it, you're going to have to own it at some point, and that's a hassle. And they're going to ask for proof. It's just amazing. Can you imagine? How about this? Okay, how about this? One last thing, then we're going to move on. Because I really want to get to this other thing. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze now any minute. Oh, there you go. I didn't have enough time to hit the pause button. Oh, sneeze. All right. God bless me. So usually I sneeze in 3, so there might be 2 more. Imagine somebody dies in your family. And the very next day, you have to make a real estate transaction. Yeah. You have to go to the open house or whatever. You have to go to contract. Are you going to go to contract after your mom dies or your dad dies? You don't think you can call the realtor and say, listen, I had a tragedy in the family. We got to reschedule this closing. Maybe you won't be able to. You can't rush a closing. You can't rush that. A closing is a closing on a house. Are you going to go to the car dealership? You're going to go pick up your Buick? I don't mean to insult you. Whatever car you're going to pick up. Are you going to go car shopping? How about that? Forget about real estate. Are you going to go to an open house and start looking for houses? Are you going to go to a car dealership and start looking for Buicks? You're not going to do that. You're going to wish you had done it the week before. And now you're going to go a whole another week without a car. Because you waited too long. I don't know if you're in a rush for a car or for a house. But you get the drift? Okay, you get my gist? All right. So let me explain to you something about my mom. Why am I not mourning? Why am I not sad? Why is this not... By the way, other than my son, I'm not especially proud of this, but whatever. There were 8 of us, all right, at the graveside. Other than myself and my son, everybody else cried. I did not shed one tear in this whole thing. And I'm going to share something with you about Dave Canyon that I haven't shared in 218 episodes, all right? Because it's very important to understand what makes me me. Is it important for you as a listener? I like to think you'd want to know, how did I become this way? How did I grow up to be 56 years old and not trust people? How did I grow up to be pragmatic? How did I grow up and then decide that these people are depleters and I eliminated them as friends? Why am I podcasting? Why did I do stand-up comedy? Why is it that I get angry at these things that other people don't get angry at? What is it that makes me me at the core? What was it? Was there a specific event? The answer is yes. There was a specific event where I lost my innocence and I became this. And it's something I'm going to share with you. So right now, there's only a few people that knew for the longest time. My wife, my therapist, and my friend Mark. For the longest time, 3 people knew, and myself, 4. And I guess my mom, 5, whatever. 5 people knew something in my life. And then the other day I told my sister. I'm going to tell you what I told her. And I'm going to tell you that at the end of the services, everybody was crying. I hosted it. I did the prayers, and people read poems and things, whatever. And then, the Jewish tradition is you take a shovel, and I brought a shovel from my house, and you put a scoop of dirt into the coffin, into the hole, the grave, and then whatever. So I said to my sister when it was all over, I said, "Hey, I need to talk to you." In the cemetery, there's a road, like a regular road where cars go, regular paved road. The whole cemetery is all gridded out. Like a street, like a community. There's First Street, Second Street, whatever, all these different streets. And I wanted to take my sister out onto the road. There's no traffic, I think we were like one of the last funerals of the day. I wanted to take a walk, and I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to share something with her. But it's so funny. I said, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And as she's walking, and by the way, we're walking on grass, so it's a little, the terrain is not the smoothest. Doesn't bother me one bit. But apparently for her, it was like walking on hot rocks, on the side of a volcano going downhill. It's like, wow, what happened to you? Like, you're walking like you got issues, like you're handicapped. And I don't know if this is because she broke her ankle or something a couple years ago. I have no idea. Something happened in her life. She fell on ice or whatever. Maybe this is related. I have no idea. But I've seen her walk. I've seen her walk when I went to Coda. And I've seen her walk away from me. And she didn't have any problems walking away from me. No. Because, she wants to go get high. So it's easy for her to just walk. Oh, they're my friends. I'm going to go get high. Bye. And look at her walk. Got a little spring in her step. Walking away from her brother. Okay. Whatever. So I'm trying to get her to walk with me. And she's like, "Hey, I'm not kidnapping you. Just want you to walk with me. I want to tell you something." And she's looking back the whole time like, "Oh, I got to look at my son. I got to look at my daughter. They're crying. I got to look at my husband." Whatever. I'm like, I need to talk to you. But she wouldn't give me her full attention. Finally, we get out to the edge of the road. My van is there. Now we're leaning on my van. But I wanted to keep on going. I wanted to walk and talk. I wanted to have 5 or 10 minutes of my sister's time. But as usual, we get back to that moment where she said to me years ago, "Dave," she said this to me, "I don't have the luxury of time to talk." This is what she said to me like 10, 15 years ago. We haven't talked really since Thanksgiving of 1997. That's where everything fell apart. I did an episode on it. I think it was episode 52, my sister Dina. And I'm trying to tell her something. It's very important. But she was like, I'm wobbly on the grass. I'm looking at my family. I don't want to give you my full attention. And then we get to the van and we stop. I'm like, I'm going to keep on walking on the road. I want to walk and talk for like 10 minutes. Okay, whatever. Now I'm under the gun because we're pretty much at the end of the service because we walked away. And any minute now, 6 people are going to come walking towards us, and I'm going to have to shut my mouth. So now I'm under the gun. And you guys know how I am. I don't want to get to it in 2 minutes. I want to elaborate. I want to tell you what's going on. So here's what's going on. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about that. But I'm going to tell you what's going on. Hold on one second. Let me just check this phone. I want to make sure. All right, still recording. All right. Whoa. Almost in the other lane here. So here's what happened. And this is the moment I lost my innocence. And I don't know. Most people don't know. I don't think people know when you lose your innocence. Like, once upon a time, I was that little boy from David and Goliath. I've talked about this before. It was a very important show in my life because my father was very uninvolved with my life. My mother was, again, she was involved, but only to a certain extent because she's a woman and she's a concentration camp survivor. She's not athletic. She's not worldly. She's illiterate. She's very unintelligent and she's illiterate. She's a good mom for Band-Aids and hugs and kisses, whatever. But one day she fell short. One day she fell short. And that was the day I lost my innocence. So, I am 56 years old, and I know that this happened in junior high school. I remember this happened in junior high school. So that would put me at either 13, 14, or 15 years old. Somewhere in that range. And I was thinking about my bar mitzvah pictures the other day because I'm Jewish, so I got bar mitzvah at 13. I don't think it happened when I was 13. So that would put it between 41 and 42 years ago. So I'm guessing somewhere between 14 and 15. I was coming home from school. Now, my mom was really uninvolved in my scholastic life. She really had no clue what was going on. No clue about science, social studies, math, English, Spanish, art, gym. No clue. If I didn't tell her, she didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't go to school herself. Too busy running from the Germans. I don't fault her for that. I'm just saying. She doesn't know. And she was deaf. She didn't really stay involved. She's like, did you do your homework? Yeah. All right, she believed me. Whatever. I never did my homework. If I got 1 million assignments, I did 2 in 12 years of school, whatever. I did very little school. Very little. I hated it. Hated all of it. But it got worse. It got worse after 14. So we had a half a day. Do you guys remember that? Remember getting a half a day? Oh, Superintendent's Day, whatever, Election Day, whatever day it was. I don't remember what day it was. I just know it wasn't winter. Could have been fall, could have been spring or summer, but it wasn't winter. And I know why I know, because, well, maybe I'll get to it. It doesn't really matter why I know, but I do know. And I come home. By the way, 5 people in the world know this. Only 5. One of them is dead. So, no threat. I'm just saying. So I come home. It's a half a day. My mom has no idea that I have a half a day. She has no idea of anything. I could have taken a bus to Manhattan and came back, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She goes, "Oh, how was school?" I go, "Yeah, it was great. I went to the arcade in Times Square. I got a hooker, smoked a joint, and whatever. I could have done anything I wanted." So I come home, and it's a full flight of stairs. That's actually 2 flights of stairs to get to my kitchen. 1 flight of stairs gets me to the front door because it was a 3-story apartment, 3-story private house. It doesn't really matter. And then I get to the front door, and then it's another full flight of stairs to my kitchen. And I look around. Mom's not home. She's got to be home. Front door's open, whatever. Maybe I had the key. I don't remember. But my mom's home. Of course she's home. She's always home. Why wouldn't she be home? She's a homemaker. She has no friends. There's no job. She's going to be home. I look around. Well, she's not in my bedroom. She's not in the living room. She's not in the dining room. She's not in the kitchen. She must be upstairs. Because we have her master bedroom, my sister's room, and the bathroom. So it's okay. So I walk up. It's a short flight of stairs. So I'm in the kitchen. I walk up the short flight of stairs. And there's my mom and dad's master bedroom, And the door's, it's kind of closed. I don't remember how closed it was. It was closed enough. I open the door. And I see my mom. She's not exactly fully dressed. I think she's kind of down to the whiteies. Whitey bra, whitey panties, whatever. I didn't really stare. I wasn't really staring. But there was a man in the room. Not my dad. And they were both in a horizontal position. Right? It's laying down is horizontal. Vertical is standing up. So they were both horizontal. And immediately, even though I was only 14 or 15 years old, I asked myself this question. Why would my mother be in her master bedroom with a man who's not my father, and she's largely undressed and laying horizontal in the bed? Boy, that's a great question, Dave. Why is that? I don't know, but I'm not sticking around to find out. So I turned around, I went downstairs, I had my book bag and all that stuff, and I was really in a panic. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I am 14 or 15 years old. And listen, I might have been 13 because my bar mitzvah was in September. So I just thought about that. My bar mitzvah was in September. My birthday's in August. So this might have happened in October or November. It could have been right after my bar mitzvah. Could have been. I really don't remember. I did not keep a journal, a diary. I don't have the specifics. I just know I was in junior high school. And I didn't know what to do. What do I do? And my mom came down. I was still in the house. I was like, like a mouse in a cage. How do I get out of here? What do I do? What's my next move? I'm young. I'm a little boy. I was just a really little boy 5 minutes ago. Now I'm a little boy, and I'm immediately zooming into manhood because I'm confronting an adult situation here. A situation you see in movies when you're a little kid. You go to these PG movies and people have affairs and people think it's funny. Oh, I'm going to cheat. Whatever. So my mom comes down. She goes, my back hurt, and Joe was massaging me. He was just massaging me. I'm like, oh wow, that's a horrible lie. I'm a child and I know how to lie. That's a horrible lie. I'm a bad liar sometimes, and I'm a good liar sometimes, but that's a horrible lie. So anyway, I left the house. I went downstairs. I got my bicycle and I went for a ride. I went for a drive. That's what I did. Maybe that's why I'm such a nomad, because I love leaving. I love not being home. I love moving. And I don't know. I'm just guessing that might be one thing that I got from that moment in time, that I just wanted to go. And I always want to go. I mean, believe me, when I go home today, I'd love to sit on the couch and do nothing. I would. I've done a lot of nothing, but I think I enjoy liking to go. So we've established my age. It's either 13, 14, or 15. And who do I talk to when I come home from my bike ride? Like, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to on my bike ride? Do I talk to my rabbi? I didn't have one. Do I talk to my uncles? Who do I talk to? Do I talk to my father? No way. I wouldn't talk to my father about anything. Why would I tell him about this? Do I want to come from a broken home? On top of it, do I want to tell my father so he can get in the car, go to this guy's house and punch him in his face, and then my father goes to jail? Because that's what he would have done. That's what he would have done. He would have killed him. He would have went there and punched him in his face. Oh, it would have been bad. My father would have went to jail because of me. I already had zero relationship with my father. And now I can't tell him that his wife is cheating on him with a friend of the family. By the way, did I mention that? This guy, Joe, friend of the family. Friend of the family. A deaf man. This guy creeped me out from day one. I don't know where this guy came from. 1 minute, he wasn't in our lives. The next minute, every day I come home, he's in my kitchen, hanging out with my mom. Why is my mom hanging out with a guy all day long? Listen, it's okay, I guess, right? It can be okay. Wow, 24 minutes into the show. So, I could really tell a long story, huh? So, just imagine, I had to keep a secret. I couldn't tell my father's mother. I couldn't tell anybody, because if it got back to my father was going to kill this guy and go to jail. So I would come from a broken home, and my father would be a jailbird. And I didn't want to tell my sister, because I didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't know her enough, really, to trust her to say, all right, this is going to be our secret. And I didn't want to destroy her relationship with her mother, just because my relationship was destroyed. And by the way, my mother didn't do it intentionally to hurt me. That's one of the things that came through in therapy. Your mom didn't do this to you. She did it for herself. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to rationalize my mom's behavior. I've had 40 some odd years to think about this. I've spent thousands of dollars on therapy. I mean, I actually didn't spend any money on pot. I never had to pay for pot. My friends always enjoyed smoking with me. So I really didn't spend any money on drugs or drink. Not because of this, but it did affect me. Because from that point on, my innocence was gone. That whole Davy and Goliath, Father Knows Best, Leave It to Beaver, Brady Bunch, Courtship of Eddie's Father, everything and anything that I may have enjoyed or took as a way to live, or the Waltons, all that stuff, it was all out the window. And I bought into every bit of it. I bought into it. Why wouldn't you? If you're 13, 14, why wouldn't you buy into the Waltons? Why wouldn't you buy into any of that? How great is that? Mommy, daddy, they're hearing. You go to school, you come home, you have a problem. You talk to your mommy, you talk to your daddy. They give you they give you some advice. At the end of the show, your life lesson. You learn the lesson. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you buy into that? You got mommy, your daddy. They read you stories, a book. They're educated. They make you educated. They like music. You like music. They like sports. You like sports. They like art. You like art. They make you food. You eat it. You like it. They teach you how to make your food. Ruined my relationship with my mother. She hasn't been my mother for over 40 years. I didn't shed a tear the other day. And I had to continue my relationship with my father, who was already a failed father at that age. I mean, I must have known at some point he was never going to come around. I graduated the Navy. He didn't attend my Navy graduation. Maybe he just couldn't get off of work. Maybe he didn't have a seniority. I don't buy into that. I think in 1980, he might have even been retired by then. In 1983, he had 2 months. Whatever. Maybe not. My mother and my sister came. I'll tell you a quick story here. I stopped kissing my mom hello and goodbye. You want to hear this crazy thing? I stopped kissing my mom hello and goodbye. And, instead of just going, okay, I deserve it. I lost my son. You know what she did? She made a big stink about it. And you know what happened? My father got angry at me. He already disliked me. He already found me to be an annoying person, a loser, whatever. I mean, the way he treated me, you wouldn't believe. A son, 13 years old. What have I done? 13 years old. I'm waiting for you to come home so we could play. I'm waiting for you to come home to be my daddy. But she made a big stink about it. And then he had to force me. He says, it's not right. You got to kiss your mother hello, goodbye. You're breaking her heart. And I would look at him like, oh, I hate you. That was the first of two times in my life where he forced me. I mean, physically forced me to do something. And I just couldn't believe this is the energy. So this is the thing you decide to put energy into? All you had to do is cross the threshold, come on the floor, lay down with me, play cars. All you have to do is take me to Herman's. Let's go get some gloves and let's play, have a catch. You like baseball. It's the only sport you like. I'll play catch with you. No, he's going to force me to kiss my mom. And I have a secret. I've kept the secret for over 40 years. So I just told my sister, who was like person number 5, is that what I established? Mark, my therapist, my wife, my mom, and then my sister. Yes, she was number 5. And now you're number 5 million. And I don't care if you keep it a secret or not. The secret's out. I'm going to tell my aunt, my father's sister one day. I'll probably tell my father's sister one day. Maybe. And you know what's interesting? Nobody in my family listens to this podcast. Not one person. So I can speak freely because nobody listens. Can you imagine I got a family of 20 or 30 people? Not one person listens to this podcast. Not one person cares about me. Not one person. Not because they don't listen to the podcast. They're just not involved in my life. They never have been. Folks, I got to get going. I hope they dumbed it down for you pretty good. Thank you for your support. I have some things I want to read to the next... whatever. I got to go. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance.
This episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave.
Good rats, Godspeed,
Goodbye,
great skills.
good day, good night, good luck,
good
good riddance, good rats, Godspeed.
and great